In the quiet after midnight, when the world forgets my name, I sit with all my shadows, and every memory feels the same. I've loved in ways that broke me, I stayed when I should have left. I mistook noise for comfort and loneliness for rest. I was searching for a feeling that would finally make me stay, but every touch felt empty, every promise faded away, until your silence found me, soft as a forgiving breath. You never tried to save me, you just stayed and did your best. You didn't need big words or fire in your eyes. You held my fear with patience and never asked me why. In the space between my heartbeats, I finally could confess that love was never louder. Your affection is the best. Your affection is the best. Not the kind that tries to own me, not the love that needs to shout. You saw the worst inside my chest, and you stayed without a doubt. When my heart was barely breathing, and my hope was hanging by a thread, you didn't save me with a promise. Your affection is the best. I've been loved in perfect sentences that were empty when they fell. I've been held by pretty lies that knew me way too well. They wanted me stronger, they wanted me whole, but you loved me broken without trying to control. You listened to my silence like it was something true. You read the tears I swallowed, but still you never moved. You let me fall apart slowly on the nights I couldn't rest. You never called it weakness, you just called it being human at best. You didn't rush my healing or tell me I'd be fine. You walked beside my darkness and let it take its time. In the calm of your forgiveness, I finally understood that love doesn't need perfection, it just needs to be good. Your affection is the best, not a fire that burns too fast. It's the warmth that stays till morning when the worst night has passed. When my voice was shaken and my faith was almost dead, you didn't ask me for forever. Your affection is the best. If I lose every reason, if I fall back into doubt, I'll remember how you loved me when I was trying to shut down. You never fixed my fractures, you never crossed my breath. You just proved in quiet moments that gentle love is what's left. affection is the best in a world that loves too hard. You were tender with my scars and careful with my heart. If this life takes everything and leaves me with regrets, I'll still know how love should feel. Your affection is the best. I walked through nights that never spoke my name, carried quiet scars I never tried to blame. I learned to breathe with half a heart inside, calling that survival, calling it alive. I mistook the silence for a kind of peace. Thought being untouched meant I wouldn't bleed. I didn't know how empty felt, so full, until your shadow crossed my soul. You never rushed the ache I tried to hide. You stayed where all my reasons learned to lie. You listened more than words could ever do, and saw the parts of me I never showed to you. You didn't promise heaven nor a flame. You gave me room to stay exactly the same, and every moment soft and slow. You taught my tired heart how to let go. You didn't save me from the rain. You stood beside me while it came. You held the truth I couldn't say, and let my fear just fade away. Your love gave me more than love ever could, more than the words I understood. It wasn't loud, it wasn't new, it was the way you stayed me through. Your love gave me peace I never knew, the kind of light that quietly grew. Not something love was meant to prove, but something only care could do. I've known the fire that burns and leaves. I've known the kiss that doesn't see. I've felt the warmth that fades too fast and names itself a future from the past. But you were different in every way. You never tried to pull me away. You let me fall, you let me stand. You loved me slow, you loved me planned. You never asked me to be strong, the parts that still believe. Not something love was meant to show, but something only patience knows. If love is just a passing flame, then what you gave me has no name. It's in the quiet, it's in the care, it's in the way you were just there when I had nothing left to give. You gave me reasons just to live, not as a dream, not as a vow, but as a truth I'm living now. Your love gave me more than love ever could, more than I ever thought it should. It held my soul without a sound and never let me hit the ground. Your love gave me what lasts inside, a place where all my fears could die, not something time could ever move. Your love gave me more than love ever could. Ever could. Ever could. Walk through nights with a restless heart, thinking love was always meant to bruise. I learned to smile while falling apart, calling survival something I chose. Every promise felt half true, every touch was passing through. I grew used to standing still, afraid of wanting more than I should feel. Built my walls with careful hands, so no one saw the cracks inside. I called the ache my only friend, and learned how not to cry. I thought love was just staying near, not being seen, not being clear. I never asked for something kind, I never knew love could be gentle with time. Then you stayed when I said nothing, you listened to my quiet fear. You held the parts I tried to hide, and suddenly love better than I ever knew. You never rushed my broken pace, never questioned why I stayed silent. You read the truth upon my face and never turned it into violence. You taught my soul to finally rest, not proving love, not passing test, just breathing in, just letting be, showing me what love was meant to be. You didn't need me strong or whole, you loved the parts I couldn't hold. In your arms I finally learned that love doesn't hurt when it's on. I was loved better than I ever knew, not loud or wild but deeply true. You didn't promise endless days, you promised care in every way. I was loved when I felt small, when I thought I'd lose it all. For the first time I didn't run, I stayed, because love had begun. If love is a place, you built it slow, with open hands and letting go. No fear of loss, no need to prove, just staying close, just staying true. And in your quiet, I found my voice. In your patience, I found a choice to believe, to finally feel that love like this is truly real. I was loved better than I ever knew. Before you, love was something I survived through. Now it's gentle, now it's kind, now it heals what time couldn't undo. I was loved not for what I became, but for who I was in the pain. And if this is all I ever find, it's enough. It changed my life. I was loved better than I ever knew. walk through nights with a guarded heart, carrying echoes of who I used to be. Every promise felt fragile in the dark. Every touch taught me how to leave. I learned to smile without believing, learn to stay without letting in. I mistook silence for healing, loneliness for strength within. I measure love by how much it hurt, by how long the silence stayed. I wore my past like a worn-out shirt, afraid of what I couldn't say. I thought love was only surviving, just breathing through the pain, never knowing there was a place to rest, never calling my broken home again. Then you stayed when I pulled away, you listened when I had nothing to say. You held the parts I tried to hide, and loved me quietly from the inside. I was loved deeper than I ever deserved, in ways I never learned, in words that were never heard. You gave me grace when I expected the worst. You loved me first, you loved me first. I was loved deeper than I ever deserved. You never asked me to be whole, never rushed my healing time. You read the cracks within my soul like unfinished lines. You didn't save me from the storm, you stood there in the rain, and somehow pain felt less like chains and more like something I could face. You saw the weight behind my eyes, the fear I couldn't justify. You loved me without needing proof of what I might become or used to. I was loved deeper than I ever deserved, with patience I never earned, with mercy I never returned. You stayed close when my world was reversed. You loved me first, you loved me first. I was loved deeper than I ever deserved. I don't know how you knew my name through all my doubt and shame. I don't know why you chose to stay when leaving would be easier to explain. Maybe love isn't something we earn, maybe it's something we find in the quiet hands that hold our scars and never ask us why. I was loved deeper than I ever deserved, beyond the wounds I carried first, beyond the past I thought it cursed. You gave me peace before I knew what it was worth. You loved me first, you loved me first. I was loved deeper than I ever deserved. was walking through the quiet of my broken days, carrying the weight of words I never learned to say. Every smile I wore was thin and worn inside. I learned how to survive, but not how to feel alive. You saw the cracks I tried so hard to hide, heard the silence trembling behind my eyes. You never asked me to explain the pain, you just stayed and stayed again. I was used to love that came with fear, hands that held me close and disappeared, promises that faded in the dark, left their scars on my heart. I thought love was only fire and flame, burning fast and leaving me the blame. But you came softer than the truth I knew, and showed me something new. When the nights were longer than my breath, when hope felt closer to goodbye than left, you didn't try to save me from the fall. You sat beside me through it all. More than love, you gave me care. You held my soul when I was barely there, when every tear was too tired to cry. You stayed and didn't ask me why. More than words you never had to say, you proved it in the quiet way you stayed. I wasn't fixed, I wasn't strong or brave, but more than love, you gave me care. You listened when my voice was breaking slow, read the pain I couldn't let you know. You let my weakness breathe and be, let me heal at my speed. No pressure for the man I should become, no fear of who I was or what I'd done. You loved me gently where I stood, the way no one ever could. When I pushed the world and hope away, when even light felt hard to face, you didn't chase, you didn't leave, you just believed. More than love, you gave me care in every moment I was unaware. You saw the man beneath the shame and loved me without trying to change. More than hope, more than prayer, you met me where I was right there. I didn't have the strength to stand, so you became my land. If love is loud, then yours was low, a quiet truth I came to know. In every breath you let me take, in every piece I couldn't fake, you taught my heart a slower pace, taught my tears they had a place. And in that calm I finally learned what it means to be returned. More than love, you gave me care when I was lost and unaware. You never asked me to be whole, you loved the cracks inside my soul. More than time, more than chance, you gave my broken heart a chance. And if I'm standing here today, it's because you gave me care. through hearts that promise forever, but faded like echoes when nights grew cold. I learned how silence can sound like surrender, when words feel heavy and hands let go. I carried hope like a fragile letter, never sure if it would be read or torn. I mistook the fire for something better, till the warmth was gone by early dawn. Every memory taught me caution, every goodbye carved a stone. I thought love was only devotion, until you showed me what it's really known. You didn't rush, you didn't demand, you stayed when I had nothing to show. You held my scars with steady hands and loved the parts I hid the most. You loved me beyond every love I've ever known, deeper than words, stronger than hope, not just the light but the cracks in my soul. You stayed when I felt alone, you gave me peace I never outgrew, a truth my broken heart was shown. I finally felt what love could do, beyond every love I've ever known. I was used to fighting just to be wanted, proving my worth in borrowed ways, but you saw value where I was haunted, and never asked me to change my face. You listened more than you tried to fix me. Let silence speak, let time unfold. You made it safe to slowly trust you in ways my past could never hold. You didn't save me, you stood beside when I was learning how to breathe. You let me fall, then watched me rise, and still believed in what you see. You love me beyond every love I've ever known. When I was weak, when I was closed, you gave me room to finally grow, without fear, without control. You turned my doubts into something true, a place my restless heart could call home. I never knew could feel like you, beyond every love I've ever known. If the world goes quiet and the stars lose view, if time forgets the pain we've sown, I'll still remember how it felt with you to be loved without being owned. You love